Hello nerds and welcome back to the Nerd Hangout. In this episode we again are going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Today we're going to talk about the live action movie. This movie was so great. So yeah, let's get to it, guys. The first episode we talked about the origins of the comic books, and if you want to see that first, you can click the card right here. And the last episode we talked about the live action cartoon, the animated series, and then we talked about all the toys that they've made and how they promoted it and how they looked, and they were awesome. It was one of the things that I remember best from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Definitely the cartoon and the toys. I'm gonna leave you a card right here so you can catch that episode if you want to see that before we're gonna get to this one. One of the things that I want to put a reminder on, which happened in the previous episodes, are about Mark Taylor, this young agent who wanted to get the rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Kevin and Peter to sell as toys, and he really did have a hard time to pitch this idea to different toy companies. So he got a lot of naysayers, but it finally paid off. He made a deal with Playmates, who gave him money to produce the toys. There were some problems with the toy lines. We talked about that in the previous episode. And then he finally sold some of it to Toys R Us, and it really, really blew up and paid off. In this episode, we're going to talk about how Mark Freeman wanted to take things even further. Mark Freeman had a very good idea. He wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to come on the big screen. A live action movie. But at that time, Peter and Kevin, the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the comic books, and even the Playmates toy company, did not think this was a good idea, fearing it would flop like so many other live action comic book adaptations. But thank God that is not today, where comic book adaptations rule Hollywood. But at that time, it was risky at best. But Mark was determined and went to talk to Gold Harvest Pictures about his idea, and they did it.
Our family grows. The city itself will be our playground to use as we please, rewarding ourselves and punishing our enemies.
We've been looking for you, Miss O'Neill.
There is a new enemy, freaks of nature. Together, we will punish these creatures.
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat.
Awesome!
Excellent!
Yeah! I love being a turtle!
The movie was made and Mark showed a screening for the guys at Playmates. And Richard Salas from Playmates came up to Mark after the screening and said to him,
"Well, you fucked that up, Freeman."
That must be so discouraging. They were very worried. The TV show was light-handed and bright, and the film, well, not so much. It was more the opposites. They were afraid. Well, they were kinda right. This movie was a lot darker than the animated TV cartoon. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's also funny, it's fun, but not so light-hearted as the cartoon. Bright colors and stuff like that. But maybe it was kinda more living up to the old comic books. So that would get the fans of the older fans who loved the comics and the younger who just wanted to see an adaptation of the Turtles. Actually, it was brilliant. But in 1990, in March, the movie came out, and it broke all records. And I remember that personally. I really loved that movie. Now, I would understand for a younger generation, but if you were a child in the 80s and the 90s, that movie was amazing. Especially if you already had a love for the Turtles. Now, I know if you saw the movie probably today, it's gonna suck, but some things you just have to be there at that time to love and cherish. And guys, you can tell me in the comments, what did you think about the movie? I mean, the old movies in the 90s. I loved it. And it is actually an indie phenomenon. Leave your comments down here. It made $143 million. It was the biggest indie film of all time. And the toys sold even more. So Playmates then sold 100 million units, which actually took 80% of all the toy markets for boys at the time. So of course, they just continued developing more characters and playsets, all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They even went so far as to turn the main characters in all kinds of get-up, like a samurai turtles. They dressed them in sport clothes, Hawaiian clothes, vacation clothes, even a caveman. You name it. They did it. And they sold it.
New York, a city where 8 million can scarf down their slices in safety, knowing that when pizza is close by, help is never far away.
Any luck finding a new place to live yet?
Well, you know, in this market, it's actually very difficult to find good subterranean housing. You'd think even an idiot could find a place down here. But no! Wow! And I thought all the really good dungeons were in Europe.
The past returns, my son.
Hey, guys, look! That's the canister that had the ooze.
That transformed us all. Yes. Well, you're the last one, aren't you?
Uh-oh!
Oh, some animals are knocking down the telephone poles.
Let them get their own cab.
The next fight will be freak against freak.
Take the ugly one! No, you take the ugly one! Which one's the ugly one?
Ninja rap.
Huh?
Ninja rap.
Go long!
Turtle in the open!
Surf's up, dude!
Ninja rap. Ninja rap.
Rock and roll!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Cowabunga!
The Secret of the Ooze.
Don't forget, we're turtles!
Now, after so much success, well, they tried to milk that cow for as much money as they could.
16th century Japan. Brave men ride into battle, fighting an evil emperor. With their only hope, a golden scepter that can open the gates of time itself. Now, in their darkest hour, come 4 brave fighters from another time, another place, another species.
You were expecting maybe the Addams Family?
They're back, and they're back in time.
Hey, kids, check it out! We're in Shogun!
Once before, demons defeated my ancestors. Now they've come back for me.
Talk about your quantum leap!
My cannons can destroy these monsters, my lord.
Uh-oh, this doesn't bode well.
I love this stuff!
911.
I have a feeling we're gonna be here for a very long time. This is the worst rescue I've ever had.
I think I swallowed a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor.
New Line Cinema presents
A Legorama. Shwee!
The 4 Greatest Turtles
Hey, all right, eh?
It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
ever to go down in history.
It's just your ordinary time travel equal mass displacement kind of thing. Kids.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
And when it came to the third live-action movie, it did not do so good. And the guys at Playmates actually said that maybe they should stop now. It was not only the movie that stopped being popular. Eventually, the success of the TV show declined, and the toy sales declined as well. And by 1996, they only had sold a third of what they did before. So now, they were facing a hard decision. Should they pull the plug? No, they decided for a reboot. There was no way that they wanted this to slip. Playmates wanted to make more money. They didn't want this to sink already. So they looked out for new opportunities for the reboot. They came across the idea of making the live-action TV series. Kind of like the movies. They had so much success previously on. They turned to Haim Saban, who had a great success with the live-action TV show we all know and love, the Power Rangers, at that time. They went also to Margaret Loesch from Fox Kids. I'm probably butchering that name, I'm sorry. From Fox Kids, and she came up with the idea of a female member of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To be honest, I have no memory of this TV show at all, or a female turtle. But apparently it happened.
My master, the shaman Chang-Yi, found me in your city's Chinatown swimming in a drainage ditch.
You know, I work out every day.
She's tripping.
She's vivacious. She's here. It just isn't probable. Splinter must have missed her.
There was a 5th turtle in a jar with us.
Chang-Yi thought I represented good luck and took me back to China with him.
I was schooled in the internal art and raised to replace him as a master shaman someday.
You want a ninja?
No!
There's probably a reason why I don't remember it. Anyway, it happened. So this was their good idea for a TV reboot. Peter Laird, one of the co-creators, did not like that idea at all. But it was at this time that things began to get a little sketchy with Peter and Kevin. And it became the biggest disagreement Peter and Kevin had faced since they started drawing the first draft of the first comic book that long ago in Mirage Studios in their home apartment. Well, they went on with it fearing there were no other way to keep the Turtles popular. So Peter agreed and said that he didn't want anything to do with it, and he kind of stepped away from that project. So when it aired...
Shinobi.
You're a full-fledged mutant hottie.
Do not call me mutant or hottie.
Do not call me mutant or hottie.
Well, it was horrible. The fans hated it. And after that, things between Kevin and Peter, well, were never the same again. Peter kind of felt betrayed and felt like Kevin was selling out on the original idea of the Turtles. And after that, Kevin grew tired of working on the same idea and sold out his rights of his shares of the Turtles. But Peter had this morality that he would never sell his part and then bought Kevin out. After Peter got all the rights for the Turtles, he scrapped the live-action TV show and wanted an animated reboot of the cartoon, and that became successful. And the toys were selling again. And by 2006, Viacom wanted to buy the rights for the TV show for Nickelodeon, and they wanted to make a more animated TV show, not like the cartoon as we know from the past, but the Nickelodeon version we know as the animated TV show. But there was a problem. Peter still held very fast on this idea that he would never sell his rights of the Turtles. It's not gonna happen. So they made an offer of $60 million. What? Sold! He took the deal and argued that, yeah, maybe it was time to pass on the baton. I mean, like, who wouldn't sell it for 60 million? So yeah, they got the rights. And the Turtles have had many major comebacks ever since. And here's where we're going to conclude the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes on the Nerd Hangout. We got 3 episodes, the comic book origins, and we got the animated TV show and the cartoons, and now the live action movie. But I think we're going to stop here. I think these are very nostalgic and fun to do, and I hope you like it. If you do, please be sure to give us a like. If you have any suggestions, a good idea what we can talk about here on the Nerd Hangout, be sure to tell us in the comments what you want to see next. Leave your comments down here. Anyway guys, here's where we're gonna stop. Thank you for the day, nerds. Goodbye. And here's where we're gonna conclude the play. Whoa. Hey guys, if you want to see the first episode of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where we talk about the origins of the comic books, take a look at this episode. And if you want to see the episode where we talk about the comic books and the toys, be sure to check this episode out, guys. You can also subscribe down here.